is everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Papa Powell going on the microphone. Papa Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. Started. Why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what is everyone doing today? Hopefully you guys had a wonderful Monday, starting off the week right by starting at green, starting off wonderful. Tons of opportunities in the market today. Oh my goodness. I mean, there was so many opportunities on the cryptocurrency basket. We talked about that a little bit last night. There were so many movers such as Lululemon. We covered that. That gave you a monster short right back into Friday's low. There were so many trades. Even if the market didn't really do too much, there was opportunities to make money everywhere. Nvidia ripped up to the north side. Micron made a new all-time high. So opportunities were there, and hopefully you all got to capitalize on that. Quick shout out, today is a special day for TraderPrad over here, not because of his P&L, because he had a small SMOL, not SMALL, but SMOL, a tiny little red day today. Screwed it up for myself by chasing the Lulu long after having a banger short. So kind of screwed it up for myself over there, gave back all the money that I made and turned it slightly red. That sucked, but nothing that we can't come back from, right? We're still positive on the month. There's only about, what, 3 more days left on the month over here, with Friday being a day off. So looks like we're gonna end the month green. We're gonna, make some money this month and have some fun with it. But overall, it sucks to just kind of donate your money that you've worked so hard for on the market right back to it at the end of the day. Very, very sad. But opportunities are going to be dime a dozen, and our job over here is to hunt for them, find them. But as I was saying, today is a special day, not because of the P&L, but because we are streaming on more than one platform today. We are on Twitch. We are on YouTube, which is the main platform that you guys see me for the last 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. I don't even know how long I've been streaming on YouTube for now. And we're also streaming on X, also formerly known as Twitter. So we're streaming on all 3 platforms. Whatever platform you're here, make sure that you're hitting the like, make sure you're hitting the subscribe, make sure you're hitting the follows to catch more of the TraderPrad over here. I stream Monday to Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go through all things stock market. We talk about all the movers that we should set up for tomorrow, such as earnings stocks that already reported earnings, stock that probably report earnings tomorrow or the next day. We look at all the movers such as those. We look at other movers such as IPOs, Reddit squeezing to a new north side, new all-time high. So we're going to talk about Reddit quite a bit today. Reddit looks like it wants to go a little wild. and Micron. So Micron semiconductor industry, the Magnificent Seven, Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta. We love taking a look at those stocks too. So we usually go through all those stocks, find some plays on them, chart them up for ourselves, and get ready for the next day. So if you're new here, hit that like and all that fun stuff. And if you're old here, like Dieter and TH, the oldies, you know that we're gonna start with the gold, baby. So let's get ready with the party. Is that how the song goes? I forgot how the song goes. But let's get to the main screen. Let's bring that screen down over here, put the fade back on, and we're gonna start off with showing you what's on store for tomorrow for the watch list. It looks a lot like yesterday's watch list, is because it is. It's pretty much a copy of yesterday's watch list. I think we're actually missing a couple of stocks from yesterday's watch list. Besides that, this is pretty much exactly the same. Starting with at the top of the list, DWAC/DJT. So we got the report that tomorrow we actually start seeing DWAC trading under DJT. Donald, what does J stand for? Donald J what? J Trump? What does the J stand for anyone who knows? But DJT, the ticker, will start being traded tomorrow, so we'll see how that one comes into place. Maybe some selling right off the open because he needs to sell $400 million worth of shares to make the payment. Junior? No, it's not Junior, bro. He's not Junior. He has a junior, but he isn't a junior, right? I'm not sure. Prad, why is Twitch running ads while you talking, brother? Now, man, listen, that's not on me. That's on Twitch. But you can do yourself a favor and head over to YouTube and watch me there. But that's just how Twitch works, man. Or maybe you can watch me on both. That way I get that little bit of ad revenue on Twitch over there. But no, that's just how Twitch works. Coming back to my watch list, that DJT, very, very important. I think that's going to be the #1 play tomorrow. We'll see how that one comes out to play. Nike. Nike is going to move around quite a bit. Lululemon, FedEx, all of those moving around. We're going to look for those day 2, day 3 type of plays. Micron, GES down through 30 today. Gave you a beautiful short. We talked about that yesterday. Hopefully you caught some of that. And last but not least, Reddit, the most important stock, along with DJT tomorrow, because Reddit has been doing some wild moves in the after hours over here, and we'll keep an eye on that. But before we go to Reddit on all the other stocks on our watch list, let's show you guys what is on store on the earnings report basket. Earnings report basket today after hours a little bit dead in my opinion. Not any stocks that I really care about. Sorry, this is the after hours today. No real stocks that I actually care about in the after hours reporting, and nor any stocks in the pre-market tomorrow. But tomorrow after hours we like the stock. We like the stock GME coming out on the earnings report. Pre-market on Wednesday we have CCL. So both of those stocks will be covered tomorrow 8 o'clock. Make sure you tune in Tuesday 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But as you guys can see, no stocks that I really care about trading tomorrow reporting pre-market, and no stocks that I really care about in the after hours reporting either. So we're gonna start off with the #1 stock on the board, which is DWAC. We expect the DWAC to maybe start kickstarting that sell-off to the downside, start initiating that move to the downside. Why is yesterday's high over here instead of higher? It should be a little bit higher. Hello? Oh, wait, no, that is yesterday's high because... wait, no, that's wrong. That's wrong, Prad. We should be here, and that should be there. One of them? Oh, there you go. There you are. And then you should be there, and you should be there. However, I think when the ticker changes, none of my lines actually should transfer over. I think all of them are going to automatically just disappear on me, and I might have to completely repaint my levels, my lines, because the ticker, like I said, changes absolutely to a brand new ticker, DJT. I think if you pull up DJT, you will see Dow Jones Industrial Transportation Average, which is a CFD. We actually pulled this up yesterday. I was expecting to see DJT tickers from back in the day when it was a hotel, when it was a casino, but I guess because of delisted, they completely removed it from the history of the market and everything on that side. But overall, DJT, when that ticker goes live tomorrow, it'll be pretty interesting to see if I have to repaint my lines. But right now, as we have it, DWAC, I mean, you're seeing how the volume is coming back into play. My whole idea here is Trump is going to use the whole election process because he knows he's going to win, right? He's going to use the whole election process, at which point DJT, which will be the ticker tomorrow, or right now DWAC, will pump even higher. Maybe even go above 180 like it did last time, for all we know, right? Squeeze to the north side a little bit, and then he will hit the sell button at a way higher price, in my opinion. So I think there's more upside over here, but that's just my little voodoo science making up a whole little own theory for DWAC slash DJT. But only thing we can do is wait for the ticker to change, see if some action kicks in. Once the options are able to be traded on DJT, that should bring in a little bit more crazy volume on the stock. I think Reddit was part of the reason why that kicked off today. Usually, apparently, stocks take 30 to 60 days before being eligible after IPO to start trading on the options markets. But Reddit, this is day 3 of IPO, and it's already eligible on the IPO, on the options market, sorry. So that's a little bit wild to me. But overall, you're seeing how that options market came into play. That the buyer at 45 absolute wall does not move the buy option at all. It did dip a little bit under 45 in pre-market, but off the open, never really dipped under 45. Just insane rip to the north side, continuous moved all the way up into a 61 new all-time high on Reddit now, $70 in the after hours. So I'm interested to see what happens over here on this position tomorrow, along with all the other stocks we have on board. But that's what the topic was for DJT, which is, I pulled up DJT again because I'm keep looking at my watch list and it says DJT on there. But that's the idea for DWAC. When DWAC changes over the tickers to DJT, when do they start being eligible to trade on options, and how does the craziness come into play at that point? We got a lot of people in the chat, which I forgot to completely say hello to. How's that? TH, Diter, Blind Jedi, Oso, Trader in AI, the Wagwan Mayu. You ever want to check out TO stocks, especially the weed sector? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but have you ever wanted to check out? I think that's what you meant. We got Think with Bookmap. What's up, brother? How's everyone doing? Thanks for being live, Pratt. So entertaining at work. You know I got you. As long as someone's watching, it makes me feel happy, even if you don't think that I'm giving some useful information. We also got Chio DPM, Chio on the Twitch side. What's up, Chio? How you doing? I think I was answering your question when you were getting ad spam, but basically I said that's just how Twitch works. You can't blame me for how Twitch works, but what you can do is check me out on YouTube. I don't think YouTube should blast you with ads the way Twitch does, so you could do that if you want to evade that whole Twitch ad side. But yeah, I'm streaming on multiple platforms, so have fun with any platform that you wish to see me on. Thanks for being live. Already read that, but I think you're talking about, do I want to see any weed stocks? I mean, if I pull up my watch list over here, you can see right there CGC is on my watch list, and today it did make a little bit of a move, but to the downside. We were all looking for CGC to see what it would do above 830, and it actually made a move above 830 in pre-market, but sold off. And a couple other stocks in the same weed sector made a little bit of a move too. I was looking at this FLGC, Flora Growth Corporation, made a move in pre-market, started popping up on my scanners. I put it up on my scanners. I was looking for the short through $2 in case CGC pulls back, and CGC did pull back, and this one did give you a beautiful short through 2. It even pulled back to 2 and completely kept rejecting $2. It gave you a tight risk to reward over there, and you were just laughing to the bank all the way down to $1, almost at $160, $1.60. So yeah, the weed sector obviously a little interesting right now with the whole Germany legalization and everything that's going on. I think weed.to, which is on Toronto Stock Exchange, it's CGC for the North American Stock Exchange, exact same company. You can even look at ACB, Aurora Cannabis. The weed sector has been very hot. We know I kind of wrote it off my last show, I think, which was yesterday on Sunday. I wrote off the weed sector. I'm still going to continue to write off the weed sector. Am I wrong by thinking that it's going to go down? No, I'm not. I'm just not hyped about the weed sector on the longer term scale, and I don't think a lot of people are, because of whoever was long on the longer term spectrum for these stocks, most of them got burnt. Some of the people that you used to watch or maybe you still watch, but the old company that I used to work at, some of the people in that workplace have stories about this company and how they invested in it, and they're completely bankrupt bankrupt and how this stock is now worthless to them, and they're still sitting on those shares. So that's the story over there for CGC. I don't think that anyone who got their hands burnt already with these wheat stocks is going to go ahead and voluntarily sign up for more hand burning sessions, and because of that, I don't see the stock really taking off with this whole Germany legalization and world legalization, if that ever ends up coming into play. But as a day trade, as a swing trade, it should still give you numerous opportunities, plenty of trade levels to play off of, and those we are interested in. So CGC always on the watch list. We'll take a look at that very soon. But starting back with DJT or DWAC, which we just talked about slightly, monster move today, beautiful move to the upside. Waiting to see how the ticker change comes in. We have this 58.72 area to keep an eye out on. We'll see if the numbers should be the same if I remember correctly. After the mergers happen, the price and everything should be the same. Nothing should change. We'll see. I could be wrong on that. Nike with some sort of a lackluster guidance, decent earnings report, but missed on the guidance overall, pushing right back into the 52-week area, almost 52-week low area. Sorry, I almost forgot to say the low part. Off the earnings move, what you can see though, the day 2 play, we got a nice rejection, almost an inside day. It did exactly pretty much what it did on the earnings day. It tried to go down, didn't really push too much further under 93. It tried to go up, didn't push too much further, about 95.50. So right now, this 93.70, 94 area, let's call it, somewhat of a really good inflection point. We want to see how the stock behaves around this 94 area. Let's actually go to the 5-minute time frame and see how the stock traded today on the 5-minute scale. Let's zoom back out, and you can see how that right there is actually where the anchored VWAP is also today. Today's VWAP right around the 93.50, 94 area, and you can see how this area is acting as an absolute inflection. Now, I don't want to make a trade off of this area. I'd much rather wait near 91, is that 92 dollars, or I'd much rather wait near the high side of yesterday's high, which is also today's high, right near 95.50, and then make any sort of a decision. But right now, Nike looking like it wants to set up over here, make a little bit of a range, and then we can play the resolution of that range. The resolution meaning the breakout to the high side, or the fail breakout to the high side and then the short right back down, or the breakdown to the downside, or the fail breakout to the downside and a move back up. This right here, this big white line that you're seeing, the thicker white line, the non-dotted white lines, they are the week's high and the week's low. So week's low over here, week's high over here. This is last week. So if the stock is clearly pushing into last week's low and not able to find buyers above there, the last week's low also being the earnings day low, also being yesterday's low, if we're not able to find buyers over there, I think we're absolutely pushing into the 52-week low, which is around 88.50. So watching how Nike behaves first at $94, that's my inflection point. As a support, we're watching that earnings day low, which was 91.72. I'm gonna put 92 to 91.70 to keep an eye on, and then under that we can see what happens. And as for resistance, I'm still going to use today's high / yesterday's high as 95.50 as my first level of resistance, and then we got the gap close into 97. That's not actually gap close. The gap closes all the way back to 100, but I'm going to call this the gap close once it tests the bottom of the range. Technically, according to the book, that's not a gap close, just so you guys know. But once it does touch that level right there, I'm going to be a little happy to take my profits and then see if we can get a bigger move for that real gap close into $100. Maybe you can call this the soft gap close and that the hard gap close, whatever you want to call it. I'm just looking to see if previous supports turn into resistances. That's why I want to scalp some profits if I am long through 95 into 97 or so. Next stock on the board over here we have is Lululemon, a stock that I had a monster short on today. I shorted 397 area. Let me zoom out of the chart a little bit for you. I shorted the 397 area right here. So I had a short right there, got out, took the low at day break, got stopped out once it came back through low at day. I took back a short right back over here in this area, added in this area, took some profits, and then I got out right back into low at day. I got back short here. I added here. I took some out here, I took more out here, and I was done with that trade. And then I fought the long into 390, and that's where I gave up all my money. Right here into 390, I fought the long quite a bit, and then eventually it broke down on me. There were points where I was quite a bit in the money, but I didn't take my profits. I was, you know, squeezing the stock, or wanted to squeeze the stock more juice out of it. Eventually didn't really do too much for me. It went right into Friday's low, the earnings day low, the weekly last week's low, and bounced right off of it and moved right back up to the north side a little bit. So exactly like what we're looking to see on Nike over here, or was it Nike? Yeah, on Nike. What does Lululemon do into this beautiful consolidation area where the stock has resided in for not one, not two, not three, but almost 4 earnings in a row? For a whole year, we kind of just stood here in this area of 360 to 400 and kind of played with this until the previous earnings report, the last quarter's earnings report, where we broke out to a new all-time high. So I want to see if the buyers over here, if they were bullish enough, are they going to still be bullish after this report? Are they going to show up again, or are we going to see the stock sadly plummet a little bit more to the downside? We do have this triple bottom almost at 360, and the last time I showed you the volume profile. So if you go to the volume profile over here, you can see how the volume profile for the whole year is currently at $383, meaning that that's where the most of the volume, shorts and longs, transacted at. Usually those levels end up being a good magnet point for stocks, and you're watching that magnet play out right now. After it magnets to that level, you see that level either acting as a support or turning into a resistance after it magnets to it. So right now we're waiting for that decision to show up. I think you could look for a short through last week's low slash earnings day low right into that 387 area for a move into 360. That's a good $20 move for a stock who does have an ATR of almost $20. It's $16 right now, so you could look for that move over there, but you want to be a little careful, right? The stock's volume is dying down. Usually that's what happens on stocks after earnings. They die down quite a bit. The ranges are also going to thin out. On the earnings day, it might have had a $20 range or more, but the next day it's going to go lower and lower and lower. So you want to be careful. Don't try to force the short through 387. If you can see a clear pattern to short at 387, by that I mean maybe the stock opens. Let's go to the 5-minute chart instead. Okay, there you go. So maybe the stock pulls back a little bit, trades somewhere over here, pulls back down, and then settles over here for a little bit, and then gets ready for the breakdown. Then I'm ready for that. I would love to smash that breakdown. But if it's somewhere here straight to the downside, I don't want to take that breakdown then, because if it's just straight one shot $10 move, $15 move to the lower day over here, then usually you'll see it snap back and then kind of do this and then break down. So if that's happening, I don't want to do that. I'd much rather wait near VWAP like I did today. But if it does do something like this and settles around the lower day before it breaks down for that move, I could look for that short there. And if it just settles over here and then breaks up, I could look for the long there too for a move right back into 400, 405, whatever your targets are. So I'll have a very clear picture of what I want to do. Make a plan, trade your plan. You need to always do that. If you're just randomly going into the market, you don't have a plan, and you're just making up systems, making up playbooks out of nowhere, out of thin air, and you think that you can go and beat the JP Morgan algorithms and the Goldman Sachs algorithms, good luck. You're gonna get absolutely blown out. So make a plan, trade the plan, stick to your plan. Don't deviate from it. It always hurts you when you deviate from it. Trust me, I know very much about it. So Lululemon very much in play. Watching that 387 support. Let's see how that 387 does tomorrow. I want to put 400 as inflection, but 400 is quite a bit of a way away from where the stock is. So let's actually go back into the 5-minute chart real quick. See where today's VWAP is. Today's VWAP is coming in at around $392. $393. Also, that was actually the low of where I was trading earlier, 394, 393. So that's pretty interesting. Just the way math works, guys. I mean, you shouldn't get too surprised by that. Lots of volume traded into that low over there at 398 and 394. 393 and 394, and that's why the VWAP ended up closing over there. Most a premium price of the day. So we could see the stock popping into 393, 395, then rejecting. If it does go to 400 and reject there, even better of a rejection. So I want to put 400 as my inflection, but for now I'm going to just leave my inflection level blank. I think the only area that I really care about is that 387. If it comes into play, I can make a decision off of that. If it doesn't come into play, then I'll probably be back off a bit. I'll watch and be patient to see if the stock, how it trades around today's VWAP, how it trades around the earnings VWAP, which is exactly around $400. That's the blue line that you're watching. So keep in watch for that 400 without fail. I'm just not going to put it in my notes, because I feel like if I put in my notes, I'll make a trade out of it. And I don't want to do that. Like I said, I don't want to make a trade out of thin air. You got to be careful. FedEx making a little bit of a save, I guess, for itself. It did make a nice bounce from today's low, reclaiming Friday's close, sorry, not close, but Friday's low pretty well, and closing above the Friday's low, which is pretty good, but still down 0.6% on the day today. Not really too good, I guess, on that note. Waiting to see how FedEx does, if it actually manages to ever go back into that 299.90 area. Let's see if my memory serves me right. Damn it, baby, it does. 299.90. So if the stock ever goes back into this pre-market after our earnings high, I want to see what happens over there. But that's quite a bit of a way to the upside for a stock whose ATR is only $6. So that's almost a $20 move there. I don't think that's happening tomorrow. I don't think that's happening this week. So we gotta lower our expectations and see what areas can the stock maybe give us a trade into. So right now we have yesterday's high right around over here into 291. I have that 291 solid line, which is the last week's high. So 291 area, possibly area to keep a watch if the stock does manage to push up there. That's also the earnings day high. We got today's low right around 277, 277.50. Today's high is 283. Let's go back to the 1-year chart real quick. We are right back into the previous all-time high, finding support in the previous all-time high ranges. So that's pretty bullish, I guess. I expect the stock to pull all the way back because the report wasn't that great, as big of a move that the stock had. They did have a buyback, if I remember correctly. That kind of helped them out on the move up and so on. But yeah, not too much going on over here for the report to justify a new move into all-time high, which is what, $50 away, $40 away. So we don't have to talk about that just yet. Still waiting to see what happens for FedEx tomorrow. I honestly don't see a play here. That's why I keep rambling on this one to see if I can find a play while I keep you guys entertained by talking about it. But I'd much rather just tell you what's on my mind, keep it straight up with you, keep it 100. I just don't see a play. There could be a play right here into the previous all-time high of 285 if it does pop up there. Today's high was 283, not that far away from 285, but you can see how the earnings day candle, we did start at 291, or a high was 291 or so. So there's a little bit of a range here. I mean, you could make a decision over here, but if you want to keep it tight and you want to walk away from it, because it could easily go to this area and give you trouble there instead to short from. And at which point, if you put too much of your mental capital, too much of your actual capital at risk, you might burn out of that area and not be able to catch this area. So you want to be a little careful for this whole pocket, in my opinion, if you're looking for that short. If you're looking for that long, there is a long attempt over there. There's a long attempt over here. There's a long attempt over here. So overall, there's quite a bit of a room here, and there's quite a bit of a room over here. And for that, I think FedEx just automatically demoted itself on my watch list scale to a blue color. Blue color, a little bit less important. No offense to any of the Crips in the chat, but the orange color a little bit more important over here. So orange stocks more important, gray stocks not important at all, but always on the watch list just in case we ever need a stock to trade. So FDX just kind of demoted itself, not really seeing anything that's just standing out at me to trade tomorrow at FDX. Let's go to Micron. Micron with a big move right off the bat. Micron ripping to the north side today, and then continuing that rip after pulling back and finding support at the previous all-time high. So shout out to Micron, ladies and gentlemen. I thought the news that came out about Nvidia, AMD, China in the morning today was a little bit negative, and it's gonna hurt the semiconductor industry. I guess my perception skills were bad because I was wrong. I mean, the whole sector ripped up. AMD went up to $180, sadly did not close there. Nvidia ripped up to the north side to almost a new all-time high. Micron did rip up to a new all-time high. So monster moves across the board over here for us to talk about and possibly prepare for. So we're watching to see how the earnings day high on Micron comes into play on any sort of a pullback, which is around $113.50. It'll be hard to see that pullback coming in. I mean, maybe not. 113. Where's 113, bro? There it is. 113. It's also the yesterday's VWAP is right around 114, 115. Anchored VWAP for earnings is pulling up to 113. So if 113 does come into play, or 113.50, which is that high that we're looking for, I think there is a monster play here if it does find buying. So earnings anchored VWAP, I'm actually going to do myself a favor here. Turn on alert. Add alert for the anchored VWAP once per bar. Once per minute. Yeah, once per minute is good. Create, and that way if it does pull back to this earnings anchored VWAP, I'll be very interested to see how the stock reacts to. But for now, I'm going to put in 113 to 113.50 as my supports. As my resistances, we're going to put in resistances as my resistance area to keep on. We're going to obviously put the all-time high of 121.50 to keep an eye on. And as for the inflection level, I think I'm just going to pick the middle of that too, 117, which is exactly where the VWAP for today is. It's 117.50, but I'm going to put 117 as my inflection point, meaning I don't want to see the stock under 117. It's this area right there. I don't want to see it under 117 in the pre-market tomorrow. If it is under 117, at least let's see buying above 113.50. So that way we can jump in the long side and rip it to the upside. MU very much in play tomorrow in my opinion, so I'll be interested to see what happens over there. We got people in the chat rolling in. What's up, people? We got Swimmer. We got Think with Bookmap. I think I already said hello with Think with Bookmap. I'm tripping. The freight market sucks and everybody knows it. I'm skeptical, says Swimmer. I mean, hey, if you were skeptical on the earnings report, you would have cashed out on the short. I think you actually were. I remember you saying the exact same sentence. It's like deja vu right now. Exact same sentence when we were looking at the report itself. And when we looked at the report, we called that down move and it played out exactly picture perfect. So shout out to anyone who took those shorts. And there's another opportunity coming up. Yellow roadway helped them. Not even sure what that is. Don't even know what yellow roadway is. What's up, Swimmer? Also with the also back from his vacation finally. I can't wait to see all those call outs, all those moves on the markets that you're gonna point out for us. That way we can make some sweet cheddar cheese together, baby. Go check out Oso on I almost said Twitter. Go check out Oso on YouTube, chat. He streams futures live trading, actual money, not no paper bullshit, actual money on YouTube. I was gonna say Monday to Friday too, but he has a little bit of an irregular schedule. But go check him out. He streams, and the boy's a killer. That boy's a killer. We also had a podcast together recently, and he is now back, so he should be streaming and he should be back to the market. So get ready for all the fun market movers calls on Think with Bookmap stream. Go check them out too. The next stock on the board over here is GES. Now, I don't care about GES anymore because I think the play is done, but technically the play is just getting started. I think this initiates the whole failed follow through shorts because it clearly gave up that monthly 2021 high. Let me confirm real quick. Yeah, 2021 May high has given up. The stock is failing the May 2021 high. We're pulling back to the downside. That is a failed pullback. failed follow through of reclaim of that $30. We were talking about that $30 very much. That $30 short ended up paying you a nice little move to the downside, exactly the stock's ATR, which is around $1 or 50 cents or so on. So that play is setting up. I think there is still a play here on guess, but the stock's volume is so low. It's a million, 2 million shares on a $30 stock. You're not gonna be able to take a lot of size on it. Wow, I'm choking over here. My mouth is dry as hell. Ooh. But overall, there is still a trade. I just don't think you can take a lot of size. I think this is not a stock that you want to be aggressive on. Passive fills, on pullbacks, on any pops and any pops that are failing. You want to scale into those, and you want to keep your stops tight. You want to keep your stops very, very your entries close to your stops. That's what I'm trying to say. You want to keep your stops tight by putting your entries close to your stops, because the stock is very slow, and if you're being aggressive and taking breakouts, sometimes you're going to watch the stock whip all the way back to VWAP, so that's going to be a little annoying. You're going to burn your mental capital doing that, so just be careful taking breakouts. I think pullbacks into that $30 area will be something to keep an eye out for. 30 to 30, 50. As long as the stock keeps on rejecting that 30 to 30, 50 area for me, I'm going to continue to look to smash the short over there. So GES, you're watching that 30 as a resistance, and for the support you could use that 29.50, which I think easily breaks, and we look for that reversal on that swing term scale that I called out for you guys all the way back into that gap close area. GES. Pinduoduo continuing to go downside. I thought it actually had a little bit of a relief today. Sadly not. It got back under last week's low, and actually used the last week's low as a nice rejection area. Last week's low is also now today's VWAP, so that 120 area, possibly looking for an inflection, possibly looking as that as a resistance area too, with the support right down at the low as 118.50. So Pinduoduo, I think, is setting up for a good short tomorrow. If it's not above 120 in pre-market and off the open is not able to find buyers above 120, I think it's game over for Pinduoduo. Pinduoduo had a pretty good earnings report, 88.88 billion yuan coming in, but boy, oh boy, that might be such a fake number, and reports are just not being appreciated by the market, and absolute stuffed even below where the stock was trading before its earnings report came out. So monster move back down over here. If the stock cannot hold 120, there is no longs in my opinion, and you're only looking for shorts. So watch out how the stock trades into that level. Last but not least, on the most important stocks for tomorrow, it's going to be Reddit. My goodness, I mean, I knew this coming, nor did I know that the stock is just now getting eligible. Eligible is reading eligible. That's what I meant to say. Illegible is cannot read. That's illegible. Eligible is, I'm losing my mind here. That's why I have to stuff a lip pillow. Let me check my phone here real quick. YouTube copyright claims. Thank you, YouTube. Yeah, you suck. Okay, so Reddit, very, very important stock for tomorrow. Didn't even know that it's eligible for IPO, for options already. That makes it let me put the lip pillow in the right spot here so I can speak properly. That makes it even more crazy. You know how these Reddit kids love options plays, and actually we might need to go to Reddit/Wall Street Bets and do a little bit of our own research. What the hell am I watching? Is that James? Is that his name? James Huang? No, it's Jensen Huang, our papa, JP. And who the hell is that? Who the hell is that? Yeah, this is a pretty cool banner though. I like this banner. Bulls, Bears, Jensen Huang, JP, and whoever the hell that is. Let's go see if there's any Reddit posts. Sheesh. Is there any way to like filter? No, I'm not trying to create a post, dude. was 5 days ago. No, I don't mean to do that. Okay, let's go check it out. You realize ChatGPT 1 through 3 were made entirely off of Reddit. That is true. I forgot about that. Oh, Sam Altman is the largest shareholder in Reddit as well. What? Well, this is... Man. Oh, I was gonna say, what? President Obama owns Reddit? No, this is a timeline of when Reddit kind of took off. Okay. Wall Street Bets takes the world by storm. NASCAR sponsors. Taylor Swift hits 1 million subscribers. How does that matter for Reddit though? What the fuck? Oh, r/Taylor Swift hits 1 million subscribers. Gotcha. Oh, I might have to do a little bit more deep dive to find out if Sam Altman's actually the largest shareholder of Reddit, but that's a pretty interesting thought over there. This is actually something that I completely forgot is very, very true. It's been mentioned by OpenAI, so that's very true. Pinterest is valued at 3.5 times current Reddit valuation. Reddit has more traffic, also very true, and that's the part of the reason why I think Discord will be a monster IPO whenever they decide to do that. The fact that Reddit is valued so low and its ads make 10% of what Meta makes off of Facebook isn't a weakness. It's a huge effing opportunity. Reddit is a social media and AI play. You are idiots for going with the hive mind as you always do. To add on top of this, it's also a Bitcoin play because Reddit has been stuffing Ethereum and Bitcoin with their extra cash on their books into Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Reddit, and they said they're gonna continue doing that too. So let's ask Olama, what the hell is that? Is that Reddit's AI or something? Oh, that's the one that you told me to check out. That's right. I need to check out that language model, the two language model websites that you sent me. But yeah, overall, that's pretty insane, ladies and gentlemen. We kind of forgot about some of those important points over there. So Reddit, Bitcoin play, and so on. 700k Reddit yellow, now green. This guy went YOLO on Reddit options and is now green. Where's the where's the trade? Was down 70k at one point, but now mama, we made it. I don't see his oh, there it is. Damn, bro. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, boyo. I'm up 30% today on Reddit. Thank you, Reddit. Damn, son. It's a new meme stock now. Not yet. Give it time. It will be. It's not meme stock yet. Just wait till the short sellers start hating on the stock and they start shorting it when the stock is at like $120. I think once the stock hits $120, which it will, there's gonna be some short sellers coming in and you're gonna watch the stock squeezing them more. Reddit hit 69 LFG. Yes, it did, buddy. Yes, it did. Reddit YOLO spez to 0. What the hell is spez, dude? I don't know. I don't speak this Wall Street Bets language. It's so crazy to me. But hey, shout out to you. He's making some money, some modest money. You know, gotta give it to him. It ain't much, but it's honest living. 14k from Reddit. DSP. dollar. I don't know what the hell that is. Plus 5K so far from May's 60-cent call, $60 calls. How are you trading options? Oh, you bought May's calls. Got you. I'm retired, so no YOLO because I won't L as long as you regards. Calling everyone else on that Reddit absolute degens. And he's saying he's not because he's not going to YOLO after hitting a YOLO win. These Redditors, dude. These Redditors. But hey, I wanted to see if there's going to be any crazy DD, any crazy ideology behind Reddit tomorrow. There was a good post over there, but no real crazy Reddit DD. There's a couple of people making money, and you might see more people joining that bandwagon, and we're all waiting to see how this party plays out tomorrow. Now, this after hour move's a little crazy. The intraday move is crazy in itself, taking it to a new all-time high. So the stock's ATR is boosted. The stock's ATR is now $11.45. I don't think we see that much coming into play. The stock didn't even trade as much volume as it did on the IPO day or the day before that. Actually, might have traded a little bit more volume than yesterday. It did, but not as much as the IPO day. But if the volume keeps on increasing as the stock price keeps on going up, then we could really get some craziness going off on Reddit. This whole options thing, it just makes it even more spicier. Might just have to track where Reddit's options moves are expected. And for that, we're gonna head over to our trusty friends Options AI, not affiliated by them, but I love their tool and I thank them for hooking me up with a website or an account. Website. The hell? $81 or back down to $38 where it hasn't even traded yet. So $45 we know is an absolute base. Options are expecting the stock to go within 1 month to a high of $81 to the upside. A quiet meme stock rally, Reddit, GameStop, and super micro surge. They're calling Reddit a meme stock now, which is crazy to me. Like, why is Reddit not in the social media basket? Why is this a meme stock? That's crazy to me. They don't want to give you expectations for 1 day, 2 days, and so on. I guess because the expiries are dying. Oh, this just builds the trade for you if you wanna set up like a call or so on. It will show you exactly where if your stop loss is here, how much money will you make if it goes there, how much money will you make if it goes higher, and so on. So it's kind of like a trade builder for you. Options AI is a pretty good website. I would urge you guys to didn't mean to do that. I would urge you guys to check them out. It's also a broker. You can trade options directly through them and let them know that Prad sent you. Check them out. Reddit is too risky even for me. That's because you're a loser. You're a fucking bot. That's why. I can't wait for this stock tomorrow. This stock is going to be insane. Maybe it's because you're a Mongolian, Lucas. That's why. Mongolians, I hear, you know, ever since they kind of lost their strength and their fierceness. They were without fear before, but after Genghis Khan, I feel like, you know, it just went downhill for you Mongolians over there. But Reddit, it's for the players. Even though GME, that's what their title is, for the players who report earnings tomorrow, and this Mongolian wants to YOLO on them and lose his money the same way he did. What was that stock where you got your ass beat on? Was it Adobe? Alexa, how to flag for video for racism? She doesn't know. She doesn't know how to do that. I don't know, Reddit was tomorrow. That's exciting. Reddit already IPO'd and it's been moving pretty crazily, but I'm excited to see what it does tomorrow even more now after going to almost $70 here in the after hours and settling right around the today's high in the after hours of $62. So watching how the stock behaves for sure. I think I'm going to put in my first resistance at 62 and then my second resistance at 70. I do expect the stock to pull back under 62 tomorrow in the pre-market. That's a little wild, but let's see if options can get even more wilder tomorrow. Let's also go along with Reddit, which was A-Lab. A-Lab has been monstrous. This is a semiconductor. This is a what am I thinking about? AI. There you go. It's a semiconductor stock. It's an AI based stock, and this one has been making insane moves. I've never seen an IPO do something like this, but because it's an AI stock, because it's a semiconductor stock, and that sector has been really hot right now, maybe that's why you're watching it kind of do this. But yeah, watching how this stock behaves too going into the next few days, because this one's volume is also going higher, unlike most IPOs, which goes lower. The stock price is also going higher, unlike most IPOs, which goes lower. So Reddit and A-Lab, very interesting stocks for tomorrow. The next stock on board, CGC. I was very interested to see how CGC would trade into this 834. It did go above that in pre-market, opened under this area and gave you a short through. I think you kind of wait for a little, either to the upside or to the downside, and then you can kind of look for a trade. I think you just wait it out. Be patient. You will find some trades after. Carvana broke out of that range but gave you a false breakout of that $90. Sadly pulled right back below 90, but didn't really do too much. It didn't flush all the way back to 75 where the earnings anchored VWAP is. So Carvana is still very interesting to see how this one sets up. Looking to see if it can go right back into that low over there from 2022. $97 or so. Is that the line that I have? $97, $98. So watching how Carvana sets up for that move. Next up, Bitcoin USD. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, wow. Bitcoin going back to 70K, telling you that they are the champions. We are the champions. And MSTR letting you know that they swang. They got up. And they swang in that big, you know what, right? They were on the verge of bankruptcy. And that's why today's thumbnail is dedicated to Michael Saylor. They were on the verge of bankruptcy. And here comes MSTR. Just laying it down on everybody. I mean, what? The buddy even went from going on the verge of bankruptcy to calling people poor if they took profits on Bitcoin after the move that Bitcoin had. He said anyone who uses Bitcoin to make money and does not hold on to it, he calls them poor. Maybe I'm paraphrasing this a little bit for the comedic effect, but that's a little ballsy from somebody who was damn near bankrupt. But shout out to you. I mean, hey, when it rains, it pours, and it's pouring for MicroStrategy. It's pouring for our boy Michael Saylor, and they're having a lot of fun with the whole Bitcoin rally back above to 70K. With Bitcoin rallying back above to 70K, the friends, its partners in crime, the ETFs, that is IBIT, GBTC, BITO. Am I forgetting one? BITO, GBTC, and IBIT. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Oh well, mostly those three, mainly IBIT actually, because BITO has been going down in volume. BITO has not been the favorite, the fan favorite as much for the ETF side. GBTC, which has been the absolute favorite, also going down in volume, whereas IBIT, the opposite. IBIT has been climbing in volume, the fan favorite for Bitcoin at the moment. So watching all three of them, whichever one has the most volume, whichever one is more active on the day, whichever one's doing more dollar volume on the day, that's going to be my venue of choice. That's going to be my instrument of choice to trade Bitcoin off of. So watching out, what would Bitcoin do into a new all-time high? Will it take IBIT into a new all-time high? Will it take BITO into a new all-time high? You're watching Coinbase making a monster move today, and Coinbase was ridiculously strong. Look at Coinbase. Ridiculously strong with the help of Bitcoin. So you're watching Coinbase making a rally back into 290, 280, all those beautiful levels up there that we already have marked off and we're kind of waiting for. So watching if Bitcoin can help those rallies over there. You could still watch Riot, Mara. I think these ones are kind of a little bit of background traders for me when it comes to cryptocurrency trading, because they're miners. Back in the day, cryptocurrency miners were actually the go-to stocks to look for to sympathy off of Bitcoin. But ever since Bitcoin ETFs have come out, these miners have been getting a little less sympathy. They've been getting a little less love, and Bitcoin halving is coming up very soon too. It happens every 4 years. It happens apparently at around a certain amount of Bitcoin that's mined. I think that number is around 230, 280,000 Bitcoin that's mined. Every time that's mined, the supply gets cut in half or so. So waiting to see how all those events comes into play, how all those events affect cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin moves. It should technically launch them to the upside. So we're being a little bit patient with the miners. I don't want to do too much with the cryptocurrency mining stocks, but with the ETFs, GBTC, BITO, IBIT, very fun to trade them, especially off the sympathy off of Bitcoin. So you're watching them without a fail. We already talked about Micron a little bit, but along with Micron, it's brothers and sisters in crime. It's partners in crime, but it's brothers and sisters in the ecosystem, in the semiconductor ecosystem. AMD, Nvidia, TSM, all very much on play every single day. TSM recently announced that I like that level on TSM. TSM recently announced that they have they're looking to open a foundry in Japan or a factory in Japan or something along those words. That gave a little bit pump to them. Looks like we're pushing into last week's high over here of 143 on TSM. So I'm just gonna put in 143 on watch tomorrow to see if we can get a trade through that area, and if we do, that could be a monster long in my opinion. We also have ARM. ARM had a nice little breakout today off that wedge. If you drew a wedge over here, this was actually called out from one of my buddies on the Discord, in my personal Discord. He said that there was a wedge on the daily chart, a wedge on, I think he said, the 60-minute chart, or maybe on a 4-hour chart or something like that, and they both were setting up for a breakout. And this was also apparently the volume point of control, which means most of the volume traded right around over here, and the stock was finding support at the volume point of control, and he called the breakout today. He said breakout ARM Monday question mark, and boy was that man correct, because this stock broke out and ripped off the open. Hopefully he capitalized on that. But now that the breakout has happened, here's where I step in, because you can see how last week's high is being respected as support. You can see after the breakout we're using previous resistance as new supports now. So if that support continues to play tomorrow into that 137 area, we got some possible longs, as long as the whole semiconductor industry continues to rally tomorrow. I want to see AMD back above 180, going above 185. I want to see Nvidia above 970 over here. What is that, 970? Yeah, I want to see Nvidia above 970, at which point we could look for that ARM, we could look for that TSM, we could look for that Micron sympathies. I think Micron actually is a very secular trade right now because of its recent earnings report. We're looking for that day 3 move, especially if it pulls back into that earnings anchored VWAP. You always have these magnificent 7 stocks, which is Amazon, Meta, Google, Apple. Sadly, however, the EU board has come out with some sort of a probe into this magnificent 7 companies, talking about antitrust laws, talking about monopoly, and so on. I feared that would have stuffed the market down a little bit, and it did successfully, but very slightly. It stuffed the market down by 0.3% on the QQQ, 0.28% on the S&P 500. It didn't really affect it too much, but I fear that catalyst might be a little bit overbearing for these magnificent 7 stocks, and if they don't take off, the chances that QQQ goes to a new all-time high is also a little low. So waiting to see how these ones end up setting up with that whole dark cloud looming on top of them. But they are at beautiful levels. You can see how Microsoft's very close to that all-time high. You can see how Amazon is very close to that 180, and if it can get above that, we got that new all-time high, the Amazon all-time high into 188 to look out for. You have Apple at that nice low into 166, if I remember correctly. No, 168. Let's just say 170. So you're looking for Apple into that 170 area. Netflix 690. No, I mean 630. So Netflix still around 630. So you got multiple levels that are very much ripe, very much ready to get picked and played with, but they just need that extra oomph behind them. And for that, in my opinion, I think the market goes off with them. I'm late. Don't yell at me like last time. Nope, you're late. Where's the late slip? I need the late slip. You don't have a late slip, you got to go to the principal's office and you got to get me a late slip. That's it. You're late. Welcome, Monty. Thank you for the $2. Appreciate it. Victoria's in the chat. What's up, Victoria? Haven't seen you in the chat for a long time. Hopefully you're having a wonderful Monday. Almost said Tuesday. I'm immune to all that. What do you mean you're immune to the principal's office? Kids these days, man. Kids these days just have a big mouth on them. Blind? Does your kid talk back to you yet? All my kids talk back to me. Look at Ani. She's older than me. That's the funny part. She's older than me by like 2-3 years. But she's my child. Get your late slip. Don't be late. Got to be punctual, my beta. Okay, I'm done. Anyways, that is the watch list for tomorrow. You guys heard me talk about the most important stocks for me. DWAC/DJT doesn't have any levels labeled in there yet because I'm waiting for pre-market to show me what to do. FedEx doesn't. I don't really see a play in there for myself. The cryptocurrency stocks, I don't really put any levels in there for myself because I'm trading off of Bitcoin. And then the stocks that do matter all have some plays and some levels right next to them. So that is the watch list. If you want to subscribe to our watch list, which gets sent out to you every day before market opens or the night before, you can access that by subscribing to me on Patreon. You can support me on Patreon. You get some extra added benefits. Everything I do is absolutely free. I believe in doing everything free, and you can see how I show you my watch list multiple times. Damn it, I'll show you my watch list one more time. It's absolutely free. But for those of you who do choose to support me, you get a physical copy of that watch list sent out to you, and thank you to those of you who already do. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. That would help me also. Thank you very much for those of you who already have done that. Let's see if we have a new video that we want to watch to learn from. But before we do that, let's actually finish our curriculum. My ADD brain kicked in over here. We're not done talking yet, Prad. So let's finish what we have to do. Actually, I forgot to even include this chart in my notes. So let's take a picture of that, put it into my notes, and that is the economic calendar for tomorrow. And what I also do every single day is I actually post the economic calendar in my Discord. So make sure you go sign up to my Discord. It's absolutely free. There's tons of great conversations happening in there every single day. About the market. There's amazing futures traders in there. Blind Jedi, one of them. He calls out his trades. He posts his charts to take a look at and ask questions to and learn from each other. There's conversations after the market too, and we have great fun over there on the weekends watching sports together. So come join with us on the TraderPrad family. Today's number is 10. What is number 10? The number of like count? Aw, that sucks. Only number 10? Only 10 likes, guys? We can get that count up more. Come on, bump it up. Bump it up. Pump it up. I'm immune to all right that. I'm sure you already know kids don't listen to their parents. So you are agreeing that you are my child? That's the norm, and you're the normie. I'm not a normie. You're the normie. If you're the person that's doing normal things, which is being rude to your parents and talking back to your parents, then aren't you the normie because you're doing the normal things? Normie. All right, let's get to the economic calendar, which we just posted on our Discord. Go check them out over there too. But for those of you in here right now, we got a little bit of a dead economic calendar this whole week, if I remember correctly. And yeah, right now we got nothing really coming up. We got durable goods at 8:30. We got at 9 o'clock HPI composite. What is that? Don't die on me. Thank you. Housing price index. Then we have more housing numbers yesterday and today, and more housing numbers coming out tomorrow. So this just is the housing week apparently, and we're waiting to see how these numbers come out. I think we are expecting lower numbers. I mean, my neighbor is actually selling his house and his price has been dropping like a rock. Just drop because he's not able to sell the house. And my guess is that's because the interest rates are crazy high, like 5% interest rates. No one really can afford a house right now. So everyone's struggling, and the house numbers that are being sold are probably going lower. The houses that are being built is probably lower too. So actually, let's go see today's number. Building new home sales, ta-da, lower, but building permits and building are actually going up. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay, that's surprising. I thought they would be going down. So I guess they're still building the same way. I think that's how the number works. But overall, housing sales are going down. Housing prices, let's go see if housing prices are going down or are they going up with the whole interest rate and all that crazy stuff with it. But besides that, nothing really crazy that I see moves the market today. Tomorrow. So it just depends on your plays that you are setting up for, your plays that you are ready for, and the ones that actually have the reason to move, such as earnings based stocks, news based stocks, such as Boeing announced today that their CEO is dropping out after all these issues that they had. They got a little bit of a relief rally off that catalyst, but still pulled back sadly to the downside even then. So watching Boeing tomorrow, I actually forgot to put Boeing on my watch list here. Let me just put Boeing real quick. Grab Boeing's ATR. Boeing's ATR is 5.18. Okay, and now we just wait to see how Boeing reacts all the way into this high of 197. I'm gonna put in 197 as resistance, and for support we got this area low somewhere into 187, 186 or so. So watching how Boeing reacts in these zones, and pretty important to see how the stock reacts because they did have somewhat of a good catalyst, I guess, not a real big catalyst overall. No, your math is off. You're the normie. Nah, you're the normie. Prad, you're going to post your new hotline number like you did on Sunday. I mean, I could post it, but I think the number's deactivated for some reason. It didn't pay my phone bill. It said I ran out of credits, which doesn't make sense. I didn't even use them. Didn't even use them. They scanned me for my initial credits, which were free, obviously. They were free. Your credit balance is 0. What? Maybe if you guys call me, I'll see something. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to set this up again. Something happened. They scammed my ass for sure. But that's pretty much all you need to know for tomorrow. No IPOs coming up for the rest of the month, at least not the ones that we care about. No big IPOs. Maybe BOLD, actually something to keep an eye on. Only 100 million. That probably goes below 100 million before it gets priced. That's why I'm not really too excited for that one. Bitcoin, we talked about that. The market movers, we talked about that. Go check out my link tree. I'm gonna post it in the chat real quick. Go check out my link tree. That's all my social media. You can check out YouTube, X, Discord, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. Check out all my socials. Follow me to keep yourself up to date as to what is happening next in the TraderPrad world. Also check out the softwares that I use for trading every single day. Trade Ideas, TraderSync, and Benzinga. Use code PRAD15 to get 15% off on Trade Ideas and TraderSync. I already told you about my Patreon, but Cameo, if you wanna hire me to do some funny stuff, such as, you know, I don't know, break up with your ex-girlfriend that you want to break, who needs to be an ex, or if you want to, I don't know, wish someone a happy birthday or something, hire me on Cameo and go check it out. I do want to say something really cool. I'm working on a new merchandise for you guys. Check out that merchandise store. Once I tell you, right now it's just a shirt. I even wouldn't buy that shirt from that merch store, but if you want to, go ahead. But I got a nice merch idea coming up. Do I actually talk about this merch idea right now? No. I will save the merch idea for a surprise. Once it's ready and I have everything finalized, I will let you guys know. It's a pretty exciting product, and I think it'll be very useful for most of you, except for Dieter, because he just doesn't use a thing that goes with that product. Dieter knows this already. Dieter knows what the product is because he's a good friend of mine. He actually made my intro beat and the beat that you're listening for the rest of the whole show over here. But I think a lot of you will be happy with this product, and I'm gonna work on it pretty hard. So just stay tuned for that one. Ooh, this one's premiering very soon. Actually, it's already premiering. It's starting right now, and I need to go watch it, but we'll watch it in a bit. Let's go see if we have a video from S&B Capital to watch and learn from. Man, more swing trades, a MACD strategy. Do we want to watch MACD strategy, chat? Why not? Why not? Let's do it. We like watching something new every day. We like learning something new every day that helps us improve by 1%. So let's put ourselves to work here. Let's get the movie started. This is actually Think with Bookmap's favorite time of the day. Apparently it's not when I talk about the market. It's about when I watch a movie and somebody else talks about the market, which is pretty sad. Not when I'm yapping, apparently. Not the 90s guy. You want the 90s guy? Well, I don't want to watch the 90s guy right now. I want to watch this guy. Well, we could watch the 90s guy too, I guess, but he just doesn't have any more videos that we want to watch right now. These are all older people, not the guy that you want to see, and he doesn't have any more new ones. So whenever he drops a new video, then we can watch it. He just doesn't have one right now. Thank you, Dieter, for the awesome beat. You're amazing. But let's go watch this. This is a very high win rate MACD scalping strategy. Simple trade by SMB Capital. For those of you who want to watch this video, let me put the link in the chat for you.
Make money trading. The best thing you can do is make the game easy. How? You take an easy high win rate scalp trade to get your trading rhythm, flow, and confidence back.
Movie time, movie time, movie time, movie time, movie time, movie time.
Our firm. And that's exactly what you'll learn from Jeff, head of trader development at our firm, and Garrett, a senior trader at our firm, in this video.
Oh yeah, I said I was going to turn that setting lower, didn't I?
Located in New York City since 2005, and proud to have developed numerous 7 and even 8-figure per year traders. Watch, take notes, and learn from professional traders on our trading desk so you can grow your trading account.
We're back, and we're going to talk specifically today about
the dynamic duo.
A lot of traders will occasionally struggle with, and you'll feel like you just can't get the trade going in your direction. You'll enter a trade and it'll start to work in your favor and then come immediately against you. You'll enter a trade and it'll immediately go against you. You know, you're doing a lot of the right things, but it just feels like you can't get the rhythm, the momentum back on your side. And you can't really get into the flow of the market sometimes. All the traders that we work with go through this. I've gone through it. I'm sure Garrett's gone through it as well. We all have a very specific playbook when we just feel a little out of rhythm with the market. And we're going to share one of those examples. We're even going to talk through exactly what the entry, exit, stop is for that example. And we're going to give a little insight into why we have this high probability trade in our back pocket all the time. So to set the stage for the example, first we're going to talk about why the trade exists. And a lot of times when a trader is struggling, they're probably chasing highs or hitting lows, almost always in a consolidation with an expectation of what's likely to occur versus listening to what is actually happening in the stock. So they're entering a position with an expectation of what might happen. Anticipating.
Is that guy wearing the same glasses as me?
Anticipating a turn. Anticipating something. And what you need to do in those moments is just slow yourself down. So really quickly, let's jump right into this setup and into this trade that some of us will use on the desk. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull in the MACD and we're going to pull in some specific settings for the MACD. So a lot of times on our...
Where's my webcam group? That's the same glasses.
On our charts, we'll have VWAP and the 9 EMA on. This will be one of those times where you just sense that frustration. And instead of getting up and walking away, or maybe ending the trading day, you just know you need to get a little bit of momentum on your side. So you'll pull up a specific setting in the MACD. We're not going to use standard settings, so we'll talk about that with Garrett in a second. But you'll pull up a specific setting on the MACD, and you'll identify the price action as it's setting up, and then you'll look for this looking into my soul, bro. High probability trade.
Holy shit! Look somewhere else.
Cheat sheet, a link at the end of this, so that everybody can kind of take a
look. Who looks into the camera like that? This guy's a murderer.
Maybe this is a good.
This guy's a killer.
Let's jump into the trade. Stocks. So what we're looking at is a series of price action, and then we have the MACD on the bottom.
This was filmed on Casual Friday. Yo, not everyone needs to trade in a suit, bro.
What are like the default settings that come with almost every platform?
All right, so default settings are usually 12, 26, 9. right? So that means that you've got a 12 moving average, a 26 moving average, and then the MACD, which is a moving average of the MACD signal, is 9. So we've kind of modified that here. And the way I like to look at MACD is it's just 2 moving averages. So what 2 moving averages are you trading, right? And then you have a moving average of your MACD line.
The reason why we're using MACD on this specific trade, on this high probability scalp, is simply because what we're looking for is actually a continuation trade. So the MACD is our best friend in this trade because we're looking for that momentum to start and then a little bit of a pause, but then continuation. So we say don't put something on your charts if you don't really understand what it is. So Garrett, talk us through why
you're looking to join
MACD
the
would
trend
be an
after the trend has been established?
Indicator to use for a continuation trade.
Yeah, so it's a momentum indicator using moving averages. And what it's measuring is the distance between those moving averages. And that's the MACD line. So
why is this guy smiling so much?
The black line is the MACD line.
He's just looking at the other guy and he's smiling at him.
That means that the fast moving average is above the slow moving average.
And the other guy is just like straight dead facing to the camera, not even looking at him.
Below the 0 line.
Oh, I'm crying.
The fast moving average is below the slow moving average. And then the MACD line itself has its own moving average, right? And that's that red pink line. And so when those cross, you can actually kind of spot turns in the market. That's at least the idea with this. And then the histogram, which is the green and red bars on either side of the 0 line, are
they
measuring
should be
the
pointing
distance.
at what they're talking about. So they're talking about this, which is a moving average convergence. Moving average convergence divergence line, and then the red line is the average for this line, and then the histogram, which he's explaining,
between the black,
which is this
MACD
these
signal line
red and these green
and
bars.
its own moving average, and that's sort of giving you the momentum of the momentum. So it's a little bit of a derivative of a
derivative
indicator added on there.
And so in this trade specifically, we're looking for this.
Blasted my mind.
A consolidation period. And we're going to define a consolidation period of at least 3 minutes up to 15 minutes. And we're going to identify it visually by looking at the MACD line. Obviously we can identify it with price, but then we're going to layer on a visual cue of looking at the MACD line. And why do we want the MACD pretty much wrapped around 0 in this case?
Yeah, I mean 0 means that the moving averages.
Yeah, but they're not
converging,
Wall
right?
Street,
So that means
TH.
that things are tightening up. On that
They're just
time frame,
day traders.
and energy is being built, right? So when it's
I don't
at
go to
0,
office in a tie.
It's neither extended to
Nobody
the
in my
upside
office wears a
or
tie. We
extended
wear
to the
flip-flops
downside.
around
it's kind
in
of locked
the
and loaded,
office.
like if you're looking at a chart with 2 moving averages and price just starts to kind of go sideways and those moving averages come together and price just starts to kind of hold them, like that's the moment that you're kind of looking for when the MACD hovers around 0.
So this just gives us our trade setup. We don't actually take a trade until we actually have the trigger, which comes in a little bit. But when we're looking through charts, when we're trying to find something because we're just looking for something to work for us on the day, we'll be looking at the MACD, looking for this specific, again, 3 to about 15 minutes.
So you're saying when you're completely down on the day and you're eating
here,
dick at the market, you're going to come use this strategy?
Really just kind of wrapped around the 0 line. There's not much going on there. And that's our first clue for this trade. So we'll play the chart forward a little bit and we'll talk about kind of what Garrett alluded to, which is what happens when you get that expansion in the MACD, when those 2 moving averages diverge a little bit. All right, so we're going to see price kind of chop around and then start to make a move. Again, the highest probability trade here, the one that base hit trade that kind of gets us back into the flow and the rhythm of things. It isn't necessarily a trade where we're trading the break of this range. So we're observing the MACD, but we're not sitting there looking for that trade signal quite yet. Again, our entire mindset, and you can practice putting yourself in this mindset of, I just can't get anything right now. The worst thing you can do is actually chase trades around in that circumstance. So we're going to use a very specific setup that occurs. And we just laid out the first step. Let's go into the second step, which is this divergence. So you start to see the MACD start to expand, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it starts to shoot above the 0 line there and they get a little bit spread out from each other. You can see that divergence and then they kind of come back together here.
Yep. And so once you get that divergence and then that convergence, and you actually see the fast moving average, is that right? The moving average? Yeah, the fast line move below the slow line.
Yeah, who even gave her a
moderate? That gives us our setup. Now, all we're looking for is using the MACD as a guide. We're looking for that cross back up like we're seeing right now. As soon as you see that cross back up, you can actually enter long your position, and your stop is going to be placed based on price. So your stop is going to be below the low of where that recent little down dip occurred. So our stop is going to go just below that.
I hate it.
Just below that little dip in price action.
I hate it.
What we're going to do is we're going to use the MACD as a guide here. So as long as the fast moving average is above the slow,
we're going
to stay with our position. We're going to allow that momentum to work for us. And we're going to just hold on to the trade. We're going to let go of the steering wheel here, and we're going to trust that this trade is going to do what it's supposed to do. As soon as we get that cross below, we're going to exit our trade. So again, we've got our stop below the low there. We've entered as soon as that cross occurs. And as soon as we have that dip below, which we just got, that's where we exit our trade. It's a very high probability trade when you get the components right. You see that consolidation first, then you see the expansion, then you see that quick dip back down, and then reclaim.
I'm sure if I coded exactly this into trade ideas and back test it, the numbers would be horrible.
That's where you enter your trade, you manage your risk, and you take an exit when you get that cross back below. So again, it's really like a 4-step process, with the first step being we identify that consolidation. Second step being we see that move start, right? We can just look at the MACD and see the expansion. Third is we get that cross back down below. And then fourth, we want them both to be above that zero line, but then we want to enter with that trigger when it crosses back above, when that black line crosses back above the red line. So Garrett, can you talk through the settings that we're using on the MACD here?
Yeah, so we're using a 3-9-5. So that's a 3 moving average, 3 period moving average, a 9 period moving average, right? That's what we're measuring, the relationship.
This guy's so smiley, bro. This guy's so happy. This guy made money on the day and the other guy didn't.
So what I love about this trade is that it outlines the execution for us, right? And that's kind of like, I know like when I'm in a slump and when I just want to get some base hits.
Why a
like,
circle really looks like deep water fish that has a face.
Like
did it? I didn't even see it.
You just know when to stay in the trade. You know when to get out. You're not wrapped up into the emotion of, you know, this has got to be a huge trade. I need to hold, right?
What the fuck?
Take your profit and run. You guys know I love trailing stops, right? The ATR
what the
trailing
fuck
stop
is that?
and different things like this. So for me, the way that I would trade this is I would just find a really strong stock. Like that would be one of the #1 things is I want to like look at what's active today, look at what's happening, look at what's breaking out, and I want to pick
face of a guy who made money on the day, face of the guy who did not make money on the day. And I bet you that's the case for whenever this video was made, because the way he was talking about the strategies, like when you're down on the day completely and nothing is working, this is what you lean to.
Pick that, right? Or if the
and look at the smile on this guy's face. But then again, he's always this happy in every video he's in.
To relative strength, and then look for this setup, and then kind of let the indicator just tell me when to get in and tell me when to get out.
He's just so happy to be on camera every time.
Stuff you can actually put in a model.
And it takes you out of that anticipatory thought process, and it puts you in an opportunistic mindset, which is really the mindset you have to be when you're
Does
trading.
this shirt have a hoodie? It's one of those hoodie shirts. This is casual Friday for sure.
It's almost like you sit there and you let the trade fall into your lap. Immediately,
and he has a golf shirt right under that.
This indicator up and put it on your chart. You have the settings that you use in it. Immediately, your mind, it's almost like a trigger for you. You know you're just sitting there waiting. You're not trading anything else. You're sitting there and waiting for this opportunity or actively looking for this opportunity. It's a much better mindset to be in when you're trading, of one of opportunity focused versus one of frustration or anticipation or really anything that ultimately boils down to being afraid, right? Being afraid of either a trade not working immediately or whatever. We have very clear rules for this trade. So let's jump into our second example. All right, so again, like Garrett said, we're identifying, in this case, a stock that has been consolidating, but then we notice how, let's say you pull this up, notice how tight that MACD gets. You have that period of just being wrapped around the zero line. Like it looks like nothing's going on, which is why we don't anticipate this. What if you bought it on the break and you said, oh, I could go now, and then it's stuffed in your face? You don't want to be in that mindset. You want to be allowing that expansion to occur, look for that convergence and that cross, and then enter on that first cross back above. And so we allow that divergence to occur. We let the price start to explore higher, right? And again, we need to make sure that we're just letting this happen for us. We're watching and we're thinking, okay, if this does what we want it to do, then I'll take a trade. But if it doesn't, then I'm just not going to have a trade. I'm not going to invent something. I'm not going to come up with a trade that doesn't exist.
So
I'm just going to
the whole idea is you're waiting for it to go under the zero line. Once it cuts the red line from the top and goes under the zero line, you wait for it to go under and then cut from under back to the north side. So you can see how it cut from under back to the north side. You're waiting for this over here, and when it cuts from under back to the north side, you get in, and when it does that, you get out. So he's waiting for it to pull back. After it pulls back,
and we see now that we have that MACD starting to curl back down, right? But where is it staying? It's staying above the zero line, right? And as long as this cross is occurring above the zero line for a long or below the zero line for a short, this is an important component. Now we have that cross back up, so we
now he's
enter our
making
position
shit up
long.
on the spot.
Again, our stop gets placed just below.
Now he's making shit up on the spot. Before he was talking about having to wait for this. Now I guess this is example number 2. So example number 2, he's saying as long as it spends a longer time up here once it converges and then diverges or whatever, that's fine. It's still a viable trade apparently. Or it spends a very short time under over here for the long trade. Vice versa, flip it around for the short trade. So if it spends too much time here when it converges and then diverges, but if it spends too much time here, there possibly is no continuation for the upside. But if it comes here, spends good time in the upper area above the zero line, and converges and diverges above the zero line, that's still viable for a trade apparently. And then you enter when that divergence happens or convergence happens, whatever this crossover is. You get in on the crossover and your stop is at the low of that red candle. That's the whole idea of the trade.
Area, right? And then we're staying in the position as long as that MACD continues to diverge. As long as that MACD, the fast moving average, stays above the slow moving average. As soon as those cross back below, we're done with the trade. We're out. That's it. It's just a little high probability scalp just to get us in the trade, let us stay in the trade, right?
The risk to reward, I guess, will work for you in your favor as soon as you go long instantly. Once that convergence happens, you might get entered right here. Your stop is right there. Maybe let's say that's a 10-cent stop and this is way more than a 10-cent move. So as long as you get 20 cents for every 10 cent that you're risking, a 2-to-1 trade, and you keep doing this multiple times throughout the day, it might just end up working out for you. But I mean, you know how many times throughout the day on one stock you're going to be doing this?
Feeling the flow of the market. This is exactly what trading should be. You're letting go of that need to do with price here. You just let the MACD tell you what to do.
From a price action perspective, Jeff, how many times
my name is Jeff.
Do you see a consolidation like that? It makes a new high and we buy that new high and then it starts to pull in, right? And you feel uneasy because now it's back inside the range.
And then you cover here.
Ultimately, so many of these end up holding and going higher. And it's sort of that retest and that go that ends up being where the momentum comes in. And like, I don't know how many times I've been stuck in like, oh, this is breaking out. I'm going to pay the high. Oh no, it's dropping now. I got to hit out. Now, like when we wait for this, we actually have a clear stop and we're sort of now going to enter when usually the momentum comes in. Because a lot of times when these things make a new high, they don't just go right away.
And that's the whole thing is you've by doing this, you simply shift your mindset from that, I hope this works, to now I have another set of checks in my favor. I had that consolidation, I have the expansion, I have that reversal, and then coming back up above. And so this is a really straightforward trade. I love the fact that
it might help
really
you catch a stock
trade,
that
you have to
that's giving you a really good trend off the open. Let's kind of maybe go check it out over here on Micron. But then I would have to set the settings exactly the way they have it set up, and I'm not trying to do that right now. That's too much work.
to just following the indicator, because as the volume comes in, as the price action continues to drive higher, you're not anticipating when you're going to sell. You're sitting there and waiting for it to tell you when to sell. When you're struggling, that's exactly what you need. You need something as cookie cutter as you possibly can get. You need very clear rules to follow. And then when you get those rules and you follow those rules, that's where you start to feel that flow back in your trading. And you can start to bring in the other elements of your playbook. But again, we just stay with the trade as long as it tells us to stay with the trade. And then as soon as it tells us to get
dancing,
out,
boys.
That's when we exit the trade.
That's
we had our stop
dancing.
in place. We had our entry based on that. And now we have our exit based on that cross back below.
So Jeff, are you getting out as soon as it crosses mid bar, or are you waiting for that bar to close?
Yeah, so I don't really care, because the entire concept for me is we're seeing expansion. So if it kind of even tests, a lot of time I'm just out. Like, I don't need to wait for the bar to close. A lot of times, just the test alone. Again, this is just a high probability, confidence boosting, get a base hit sort of trade. It's sort of like if you hit a really good hit and you've been struggling and you get to first base, do you like instantly try and go to second? Like,
yes.
Not all the time, right?
Yes.
You just want to get on base. You want to get that momentum going.
I go for all four at the
really
same
feel
time.
The need to like sit there and say, do I need it to cross or do I need to wait for the close? I can just sit there and some platforms actually won't let you. So you have to kind of wait until it actually closes, but it won't move until it closes. And in that case, it doesn't really matter. The same concept remains. You're not trying to capture everything. You're just trying to get the easy money out of this scalp. Let's go to our third example. In this case, we see price coming off the lows. And this is a really clear example. We'll talk about the setups that you can really look for this trade in, the best setups that we have, that you kind of see those setups, and those are the ones you gravitate towards in a little bit. But this is kind of exactly what we want to highlight.
You guys see that? So right there,
Highlight the
kind of what he was talking about for the trade. It goes under, converges, diverges, whatever the word is. You go long somewhere right here with your stop under there, and then when it cuts back under, you get out, which is just before VWAP right over here. And that's you, whatever that trade is, a quick scalp. You're not staying there for the whole move. You're not staying there for longer than, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You're in and you're out.
Itself. We want to go through one more example. So I'm not trading this breakout. I'm looking for confirmation of the MACD starting to expand. And then I would want to see it start to contract. So I'm giving it time to expand first.
This could help you with an entry
occurring,
playbook for stocks that are breaking out, for like stocks that are like are good breakout levels. For example, let's pick a stock from our thing over here. I'm gonna pick Reddit 70, right? Let's say Reddit 70 was this area. Reddit breaks out of 70. Instead of taking the 70 breakout, you could use this idea to join the trend, to join the upside. After you've seen that 70 breaks, there is buying coming in above 70, and you're struggling as to where do I enter to join the trend and where should my stop be. You could kind of use this to help you join the trend, but then I would urge you to have better exit rules, not just for this. This could help you with timing the entry.
What am I risking?
In my opinion.
If it pulls back, I'm not anticipating how much it's going to pull back. I'm not anticipating where my stop is going to be. I'm allowing all that stuff to come in, but I'm doing these mental calculations. I'm determining what might the low look like here, right? Where might I be putting my stop? That's allowing me to think about the amount of share size I need in order to put the right amount of risk on. A lot of times I'm not risking a lot in this trade simply because, again, I just want to get a win on the board. So right now,
that's such a bad mentality to go into a trade. Like if you're losing continuously, multiple trades in a row, and you come here and you're like, I just want to put a win on the board. That's such a shit mentality. Just think about one good trade. This is a good trade. Was it not? All right. Why was it not a good trade? Go to the next trade. Look for the next best trade. Look for the next best trade. That's the only thing that matters. What's the next trade? Period. You're not changing the past. You learn from it, move on. What's the next best trade? You can't have that mentality of, I need to make that money back. I need to have at least one good trade on the day today, or I'm going to, off myself. You can't be thinking like that.
Wouldn't take the trade. But in this case, the cross occurs completely above. So you can take the trade. You have your very defined stop, right? The stop, again, goes right below the low based on the price action. There you go. And then we're going to allow the MACD to tell us when it's time to exit the position. We don't have to predict.
For me, it's even more simpler than that. Even without using this whole thing, that's the VWAP. The stock came out from the underside to the upside, probably bottomed out at the low a day, reclaimed VWAP, had a clear seller above VWAP. You're seeing how sell. But we're also seeing buy. So clear seller here. Once that seller breaks and the stock resolutes to even more high side above VWAP, you could take that breakout with the stop here, right? That's pretty much a wide stop. Instead of taking that breakout, you could also wait for the stock to pull back, see if buyers come in at VWAP, or if they come in at the same highs where the seller was. If the seller area is now, which was resistance, turns into support, you wait for this area to show up. You go long somewhere here with your stop right at that low. I didn't even have to use any of this, but this gives you that extra mathematical edge instead of just using technical edge, which is just like, there's a seller there, there's a level there, then hopefully it holds, there's a VWAP here, which is a little bit more technical side. But this just helps you on the more mathematical edge for those of you who are wondering why I am so negative about this whole system. But it's a useful tool. There's no one right way of making money in the market. That's the beauty of it. And it's a useful tool. Just got to know how to use it properly and understand why it's doing what it's doing. There used to be a seller here. The stock was down on the day. It was under VWAP. It is now reclaiming VWAP. If the stock is above VWAP, it's bullish. If it's under VWAP, it's bearish. After reclaiming VWAP from the underside on the day, we're now seeing buyers step in for the rest of the day. That's a clear change in characteristics, clear change in trend. If you pull back the chart, probably earlier on in the day, this is probably the opening range right here. Probably the opening range or in the middle of the opening range, probably the opening range 5-minute low, somewhere right here in this area. And you can see how it reclaims that whole range, pulls back. The seller from the opening drive is being negated by the bigger buyer later on in the day. And the buy program is absolutely winning at the moment. But this can absolutely help you in the trade entry.
We don't have to anticipate. We can allow the momentum.
And it gives you a reason to exit too, but I just don't like that reason to exit.
Allow the MACD to tell us when to exit the trade.
Again, from a price action perspective, we get a retest of that breakout, and then it holds, right? Like again, how many times when it's pulling back, if you're really antsy to get into a trade, you're impatient, right? You start bidding in early, or you start paying the offer on those red candles, and you start getting bad prices, and then it goes against you, and you're not waiting for the turn. We always talk about waiting for the turn, right? And one of the ways to do that is to watch the tape, to watch the candle, that big green candle that occurred. But this MACD signal is sort of like, to me, another way to wait for that turn.
Yep. Yeah, you're by definition always trading on the right side of the V. Right? You're not letting yourself get caught. If you're waiting for that cross back up, you are
Did I just trip balls?
Letting yourself get in, always trading on the right side of the V.
Did you guys see that?
You're by definition always trading on the right side of the V.
The play button paused, but I didn't hit
letting yourself get caught. If you're waiting for that cross back up,
I just tripped balls on that. That was in the video.
As much as you possibly can, trading on the right side of the V with this. So what's tricky about this trade and why we don't just make this trade all the time, you probably could, but sometimes it varies in your risk to reward. And so when you're looking at your total portfolio of strategies, sometimes you want to add this in and sometimes you want to take it out. Garrett talked about two great situations to take this trade. When something's trending, when something's breaking out of a higher time frame range, when something's consolidating intraday, you can kind of sit back and wait for this to occur. You know, higher time frame consolidations, big dog consolidations, you know, hitchhiker scalps. You can look for continuation off of those. These are all little setups that you can wait and allow this trade to just hit you between the eyes. You take the trade, you know where your stop is. Again, you're allowing price to determine your stop so you can calculate your share size, but then allowing the momentum to work for you.
And let me just quickly give you the other side of the trade. Let's say it doesn't work out, right? Let's say this doesn't hold. After it bounces, it comes back and it sells off. You take that loss and you move on. That's fine. But there's still a buyer here. And that's why I think the stop should be down there. The hell was that noise?
As long as it remains
sneezed or something in my house? What the hell was that?
So we're not
noise?
using the MACD histogram anywhere in this setup, correct?
Correct. I don't think I've ever paid attention to the MACD histogram in this setup. I'm really just focused on the lines. It does, for a long, you want the cross to occur above the zero line. For a short, you want the cross to occur below the zero line. You know, not just the initial move up, but then that continuation. You want to make sure you're identifying that period of consolidation where that MACD is essentially flat and ideally flat around the zero line prior to this. Because otherwise you're going to be walking into a situation with too much variability. Garrett, what happens when we're trading this or we're looking for this and we're trying to trade it out of a period of variability? Are we going to get a lot of crosses?
No, we need the energy built up in the trade.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can't have it going all over the place. Like right now, we kind of have like that initial move that we traded the pullback for, and then it made another move, right? So we're not going to look now to buy like the next cross because that whole setup is kind of over.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
Yeah. The whole setup is over. So that's important to just identify this, sit in your seat and wait. You know, we hope this is helpful. Lately, especially with the volatility in the market, we've seen traders go through these amazing periods of growth where they're making really good trades and then almost as quickly sometimes struggle to just feel that rhythm again. And that can be the big determining factor between how profitable or how successful your week is in trading and your month is how quickly can you get back into that flow as soon as you start to feel out of it. You know, if you do this one time or two times just to start feeling that winning feeling again, to get back into that high probability moment, that could allow you to walk into a really big trade. You have to be in the right mindset when you're trading, and this is just a way to get you back into that mindset really, really quickly. So like we said, there's a cheat sheet associated with it. I'm sure there's a link somewhere. You know, if you want to learn more about the MACD, Garrett has this really awesome video that he did where he
watched that video. If you guys remember, we watched that together.
You can check it out. If you want to learn more about different types of trades, particularly scalp trades or technical trades, you know, Garrett talked about that pullback into that prior support. There's a video that I did recently where we talk through very specific examples. Again, we talk about where your stops go. We talk about where your entry trigger is. We talk about what your target might be. These are just absolutes that you really need to make sure you're understanding. So hope this was helpful.
That was pretty helpful. Honestly, I might want to watch this video again just so I could get that settings right somewhere at 10 minutes or so, that settings part, and incorporate it into my charts. See if I like the entry part. That's the part that I like. It helps you get the entries on stocks after they break out, and there's some value there. But in terms of the exit, in terms of the whole scalpness and the stops and so on, I kind of don't really vibe with that too much. But I think I like the aspect of how they use it to enter the trade. So I do like that quite a bit, and I think we made the right choice watching that video. That was a good video to watch. Learned quite a bit from it, and possibly going to apply what I learned. Hopefully you guys learned something new from it and are going to improve your trading a little bit more. Tomorrow, let's have some fun in the market. Let's see if the market moves around. Nothing really that could help the market move around. So we do have a list of stocks that we want to take a look at. Reddit, DJT at the top of those lists. So we'll see if those will set up for some fun activity, for some fun plays. And if they don't, that's fine, because we already wrote off this whole week as a risk off week anyways. So just gonna keep it easy, keep it light, and if a big opportunity shows up, smash it. That's your job as a trader. Make sure you do what your job is. Apply that risk management. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.